There it is. There's a really cool song not just made by a rapper, Gucci Mane from Atlanta, but also in a Japanese band, Beijing, from Japan. They would have a song called Amnesia. And it's something fascinating because people might have amnesia, not know about it, but then other people are more prone to get it and would never even think of it. It's just as though the fat, when it stimulates enough, a certain percentile where it stimulates enough to make the metabolic system, metabolism, move into action. And so this is so great because there's different things in your bodies that stimulate, and then some things only do it from stemming from them. You know, if there's something free in life, what would you have it? I would have it be all cyber, like more data on stuff, making video. I make so many videos that I'd like to not have to shuffle my data around. So I mean, that can be as easy as just picking up spare change on the ground because you're trying to save money, literally. And this is a funny thing that you could fudge, but it could be taken literal. It's like you say, no, I donate to the library every day, and you just give them like 2 cents every time you go there because you give them your 2 cents. Because believe me, any mistake that you do made is obviously humanly possible, but at the last minute could definitely be used as a schematic, whereas a scanner wouldn't have made the wrong choice, and that would be the underpinning of why you would not be allowed to have a license. Marble's important because you're able to have something significant as a QR code. That's why wood also obtains the same characteristics because it's in its tree rings. And just with noticing when something goes wrong and keeping track of it, if you're sent a piece of paper that tells you to go on a website and do something that's already been done, that's one problem that has been miscalculated. Keep a note of it. If a processing is determined by a judge, and then, see, that's just the ultimate. You can't undercut the judicial system because it's an archetype of any department, because legality is what it has to be pertained to to obtain a license to even conduct activity. And so if they process something that wasn't what was apparent, and then they mark it down as such, that's a second mistake. When an engine in a car, what gets its system to run? It isn't that the engine is moving forward, it's that it's stationed and it's locked in a certain position, and so that it can move forward. And it's just like your brain, where you're just always carrying it on top of your skeleton as you think of decisions while you walk. It's stationary, just as like a muscle acting as a river. We're in a bend of the river. Most of the quickness is on the outside of the bend, whereas in a straightaway, it's right in the middle. So I was just reading a comic book. I don't even remember the name because I don't read comic books. But this one, it was starting out where I kind of looked like Iron Man had Doctor Strange's cape. So, you know, I'm hooked right away. It was this different guy. And then his arch nemesis was this guy like Darkseid, and he wanted to obtain the equation. And so that his stance was this would end hope for everyone, and very well may so, the anti-equation. I was talking just the other day of the thing of an anti-electromagnetic spectrum. I was talking just the other day of an anti-electromagnetic spectrum, and the one thing that they can't do what I think I can, is combining quantum gravity into the electromagnetic spectrum. And this would be nothing short of stimulating the gravity to the electromagnetic spectrum. And I already knew this. This is why I just kept talking about the glands and secretion, is that when magnetic fields of particles, things that are moving within you, they're actually inducting magnetics the whole time. And when it weighs in your body, the different pressures within the glands, it's already doing it with the gravity being used as pressure points. And that's why I'm so surprised in outlets with cording. Why can't you have a cord that shifts about, and then it can capitalize off the battery being turned off and on multiple times? And it's almost to the point where no one wants to talk about it because it's supposed to, they're professionals. They're not supposed to be talking about things that's so childish, whereas they're saying that your eyes are actually detecting an entire capacitance plate, where they would rather just run a different engine in order to transmute it differently. Whereas perhaps things probably stimulate in different ways. Whereas instead of fat, and it stimulates a metabolic system, metabolic that is, fat also burns and you can use it for a candle. Where a light bulb would use to stimulate its coil is electric outlet, and this is nothing short of what could happen if it goes missing, whereas then the electric outlet doesn't have a thing to stimulate. And so maybe that's what has to be taken into consideration when considering how things are stimulating. The thing that is the source of it is nothing short of needing that same stimulant as well. And that's how you can encumber a trajector in order to capitalize off of natural outsourcing. I think that's like the goal of many of which who try to go green, but it falls short when the cycle of water misses all the gas that's already inside of the soil, and then it just remains like no different than the outlet that has a bulb gone missing. It's just stagnant and actually probably builds up from the equivalence of not being able to be utilized. In a capacitance plate, it's around the edging where you can utilize all of it, because 90-degree angles, nothing falls short when the wave function collapses. It has to embark on not the diagonal, so it goes to parallel perpendicular, and that's why photons achieve zero friction. Well, because they're going about the edging of a capacitance plate, one of which would be designed through a person reading anything. And that's why it's so easy, because it's right there. It's just no one can detect a capacitance plate that large. Okay, I gotta address something. That when you're dressing, it's not gonna be okay with everyone. And then sometimes when you dress, you get mad at people who look at you, because I don't know why, but I've never been mad at someone who's looked at me with how I've dressed, but I have plenty of people who are mad at me that I'm not dressed with my shoes tied or my pants tucked upright. And so this is an ongoing battle with the only friend I have, and he doesn't like how I look outside. So that is one side. Here's the flip end, which is even harder to mention. So this is why I mentioned it me first, so it seems less harsh. is when if someone, and I can name two, has like a shirt that is like exposing a lot, and then someone like me enters a room and they feel uncomfortable, and so that they either leave or like cover up with like a towel or something, or then they cover up with a towel as they leave just because I entered. It's kind of bad because they chose to look that way, and then I offended them because they have the way that they're looking. And so there's me, I have a problem with people don't like how I regularly look, and then there's two people who probably there would be a whole bunch more in the category. They don't like the way that they look. So I'm stuck in between. I'm just trying not to be seen with my friend, but then even when I'm not with him, there's problems where people don't like how they look in front of me. So once again, I'm just in between those two, and that's why I can address that now, because neither of them are here.